You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wrestling Nerdcast on the Angry Marks Podcast Network with your host, Will Huckabee and Mika Villas.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's that time. It's time for the Wrestling Nerdcast. And we're doing something a little different today. You know, we're trying out some new things. If you're lucky enough, you might get to actually see us live. You might actually get to see this podcast on video, which means you get to see my face. As usual, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host. I'm the AIWF World Heavyweight Champion, the AIWF Mega Heavyweight Champion, the World Wrestling Grand Prix Champion, the Firestar Pro Wrestling Zone 1 Champion, the IWA North Carolina Heavyweight Champion, and as this past weekend, I'm the West Virginia Championship Wrestling Heritage Champion. I'm Mr. Hashtag all the titles, the disrespectful intellectual, the Southern Gentleman, the Morning Star, the Incredible Huck, Will Huckabee. And as usual, it wouldn't just be a show if, you know, I didn't have the Bonnie to my Clyde, the Tito to my Michael, you know, the Toto to my Dorothy. Ladies and gentlemen, she's one half of the world's cutest commentary team. She is the lover of waffles. She is the voice of the speech impediment. She is the solicitor of all things unsolicited. She is the affectionator of adulation. She is my cousin. You catch her only on this podcast, but on several other podcasts, turns out, because she's super, super popular. Mrs. Hashtag What That Mouth Do, Mika Villas. Mika, what's going on, girl?
I feel so, violated. You just called me Tito and Toto. You called me a fat Jackson dog. I don't even know how to take that. For real.
I also called you Bonnie to my Clyde, you know.
So maybe I should shoot you.
I should call you the Louise to my Thelma.
Oh my gosh.
The Robert to my Howard Stern.
Oh, please don't. Thank you. Please don't. All right.
The bananas to my peanut butter.
I am kind of nuts. But anyway, I'm good. How are you, champ?
No, you would be the bananas, genius. I'm doing good. You know, just sitting here chilling in Casa Huckabee. Shouts out, once again, ladies and gentlemen, this podcast is brought to you by our good friends at Indie Customs. Be sure to check them out on Facebook. Be sure to check them out on Twitter. Also, be sure when you're on Facebook, checking out Indie Customs and looking through all the great shirts from all the sponsored athletes, including this show. While you're on Facebook, be sure to check out our friends over there at Pro Wrestling World for all of your pro wrestling needs. Not only WWE and Impact Wrestling, but also New Japan and plenty and dozens and the hundreds of other independent wrestling companies all over the world. Now, I'm doing good, like you were saying, Mika. Shouts out to the homies at Speedway. I don't know if y'all can see this huge cup, but I got my Speedway cup. Great deal. It's 89 cents or whatever for this huge 52-ounce drink. Got some rum and some pink lemonade because tonight's episode is going to be redonkulous. But I had a good weekend. You know, like I said, was at WVCW in West Virginia. I had to wrestle one half of the Gymnasty Boys, Timmy Lou Retton. Got the victory. I actually put my World Wrestling Grand Prix title on the line. Had to come out there. Actually, I came out there with all the titles. Had to show everybody in West Virginia, you know, what a real champion looks like. So I put all the titles out of the bag, put them all around my waist. You know what I'm saying? I had the Ultimo Dragon thing going on. You know what I'm saying? Which reminds me, you know, I'm gonna start using the hashtag Hucktimo Dragon. But I had a good match with Timmy Lou Retton and stuff, and got the W. So I'm really happy, super happy. So what about you?
I had a relatively quiet weekend for me. I did not go to any shows. I stayed home, but there was wrestling to be had. I stayed home and I watched a ton of wrestling DVDs with the up-and-coming wrestler. My wrestling daughter, Morgana Moon, came over, and we watched a lot of death matches, actually. Some old John Moxley. You may know him as Dean Ambrose. We watched a lot of his CZW stuff and just kind of saw him, Drake Younger, and all those old school CW guys kind of literally go at it with everything and anything. So that is kind of crazy, but it was cool. We watched, we talked, we discussed. I I was thinking about, I think I talked about before, calling a death match, being a female calling a death match. So that was kind of a kind of guilty pleasure, studying Moxley and then, watching a death match. So that was kind of cool.
I would never take you as a death match watcher. I would never take you as a person who would watch death matches, someone who would enjoy death matches. You just don't seem like that kind of person.
I like wrestling. I like the aspect of it. It is bloody, it's gory. These are some really just, lack of a better word, hardcore things that these guys put themselves through back then. And the fact of the matter is, I mean, I'm still a fan, and they got me. I was watching the video, and there's one part of one of the matches, there was a handsaw that was taken to the forehead of, maybe not a handsaw. I'm not a Home Depot person, but it's a little, like a jigsaw, a little portable jigsaw taken to the forehead.
You mean like a hacksaw?
But it was electric. So, handsaw. Yeah, exactly. Moxley took it to the forehead, and I was like, oh, I'm sitting here going, I've seen the guy's forehead now. I know it's not cut to ribbons and shreds, but I still reacted. And it was the point that, even as somebody who's, trying to call this match as I'm watching it, I'm still reacting to it. Imagine the fans there in attendance. Of course, it was a dull blade, but the blood that he was already spewing kind of moved to a point where it really, truly looked like he was getting sliced open, and it was horribly wonderful. So I'm a deathmatch girl, yeah.
Oh, Mika's a deathmatch girl. Go figure. Oh, you know what? Come to think of it, there wasn't a whole lot. I mean, it was really crazy, you know what I'm saying, this week. Like, with all the news that's been going on the last couple of weeks and stuff, and luckily with all the bad things that's been happening, not only in professional wrestling, but in the world of entertainment, like, this has actually been a pretty quiet week. Like, no real big scandals, nobody, getting called out on Twitter. Like, it was a quiet week. That's kind of weird. Mika?
I'm here. I think there was one thing that happened. I'm not sure what. I didn't quite dig into it, but Booker T said that if you catch Corey Graves out in the street, Corey Graves could catch these hands or something to that effect. So I don't know. Maybe that's something that's best left unsaid or talked about, but that's the only thing I can think of.
No, I'm about to say, I've seen that on Twitter and stuff. I've seen people talking about that on Twitter, and I was like, I mean, half of me is like, that can't be real. Like, there's no way Booker T said that. You know what I'm saying? He's a businessman of that, and he owns not only his own company, Reality of Wrestling. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're in the Houston area, check out Reality of Wrestling on the CW network. And then you can also check it out on YouTube. Just check out Reality of Wrestling. But he's also, a WWE Hall of Famer. He's a WWE commentator. I guess they relegated him back to like the pre-shows and stuff, the pre-show panel. But a part of it is like, Booker T didn't say that. But then I remember that Booker T is also the guy who, said the dreaded N-bomb. This is not. He said nigga on national TV. Called Hulk Hogan a nigga, first of all. and not only that, but he beat up Batista backstage as well. So, it's not like this is far beyond like, oh, Booker T would never do this. It's just like, come on, Booker. If you did say that, like, you're getting kind of up in age, man. Like, you too old to be fighting. Like, you should just, you should just say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and put a bullet in you or something. Like, come on, like that's about. I'm saying that's what old black people do, Mika. Okay, when you get to a certain age in the black community, you don't fight anymore. Okay, if you're 65 trying to fight somebody, that's when they put you on World Star and people laugh at you. You know what I'm saying? When you get to your mid 50s, early 60s, that's when you tell people you're gonna hit with the Marvin Gaye treatment. You know what I'm saying? You can put a bullet in them. Like, that's what you're supposed to do.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible. Like, I feel that maybe you want to settle it like men and knuckle up or whatever, but like just to shoot them, that's bad. I mean, for real. You can beat somebody's ass and go to jail and kind of like, yeah, I beat his ass. I can get out for that. But if you shoot him, that's a whole lot more charges added to the
I'm not gonna tell anybody how to get away with anything, but there's certain ways and certain places you can shoot somebody where it's just aggravated assault, not attempted murder. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, now, I'm a year older now. This past weekend was my birthday. I'm a year older. I'm now 23 years old.
Acting like you're 12.
What?
Acting like you're 12.
Or at least I don't act like I'm 45. Anyway, but I'm a year older, and I'm to that age now, the right old age of 23, where I'm like, I'm not fighting people. Like, I'm not going to fight you anymore. Like, if it gets to the point where we just can't solve things with words, then I'm just going to have to go ahead and shoot you. So I'm letting you know that, ladies and gentlemen, if you argue with me and you can't come to a peaceful resolve and conversation, I'm just going to shoot you because I got wrestlers back and I got arthritis in my joints and I got concussions, so I'll be forgetting stuff, and I might forget that you even mad at me and you might sucker punch me for no reason when I'm out at Walmart after a show. I'm just not dealing with it.
Oh my gosh. That's the oldest 23-year-old I've ever heard, first and foremost, with all these aches and pains. Secondly, you take too many chair shots. Don't shoot anybody, okay? Please, just let it go. Let it go. Walk away. Let it go.
It might also be this rum in my Speedway 52-ounce cup.
That they don't sell at, they don't sell the rum. So everybody's running a Speedway right now looking for rum. They don't do that, okay? That's the Huckabee special. Y'all calm down.
Shout out the Speedway. Shouts out the Speedway. That's all I'm saying.
Red Solo cup.
Huge cup. This is like my WrestleCade cup, Mika.
Oh, God. Don't even go back to WrestleCade. I'm drunk thinking about it, and I'm drinking water, okay? So, yeah.
this might be my new WrestleCade cup. I'm not even going to lie about it. Ladies and gentlemen, my WrestleCade cup for everybody who can't see this. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, laughing, joking, that's what we do here at the Wrestling Nerdcast, brought to you by the AngryMarks Podcast Network. Once again, huge shout-outs to our sponsors, because without them, there would be really no podcast. We would be able to do the things that we do, which is entertain you guys, the fans. They're the reason why we're able to have this video podcast as well as this audio chocolate for all of you people who can't get on your phones right now and watch a video because you might be driving to work or you might be trying to avoid listening to your wife or your husband speak. So you just pop your earphones in, listen to the soulful sounds of myself and Miss Hashtag What That Mouth Do. Speaking of which, Mika.
Yes.
It's time for a moment with Mika. What are you going to talk about in the world of professional wrestling and or entertainment this week?
I am going to talk about not the Super Bowl, because I'm pretty sure everybody's all Super Bowled out, hopefully. I'm going to talk about announcers. I'm going to talk about a 3-man announce booth. I'm going to talk about chemistry or lack therefor of. This is the second week, this second Monday, there's a 3-man booth in the commentary for Raw. That new 3-man is Corey Graves, Michael Cole, and the returning Jonathan Coachman. I did not enjoy week 1 or week 2 of the broadcast due to these 3 gentlemen trying to outdo each other on commentary. Perhaps it's my own pet peeve being a commentator, but I feel that you should pay attention to the action and tell a story. The guys, unfortunately, don't have a chemistry where this week and last week they were more so interested in arguing with one another. Literally on the air, live, worldwide, Coachman and Corey Graves were having an argument where Michael Cole had to step in and go, guys, just cut it out. How unprofessional is that? Now, I don't know if this is something that they want to do or if this that is supposed to lead into a match on the road, because we all know that Vincent will throw Coachman in the ring for danger. Corey Graves and Michael Cole both been in the ring, but it was just something so unprofessional where there was a great match happening in the middle of this argument that I stopped paying attention to the match to listen to the argument. I feel that people should add to the product and not take away. So if there's people out there doing commentary or anything related to wrestling, whether it be professional wrestling or independent wrestling, just remember that our jobs are to enhance, to help, but not to, steal some phrases here, put ourselves over. There's plenty of time for your character or your own personal opinions outside of the actual working environment. So my pet peeve, my Mika's moment is, somebody put Coachman back on ESPN. I don't know why he came back to WWE. Again, he was doing a great job out there, but please go back to ESPN and do whatever it is that you were doing and leave the commentating to either Michael Cole and Corey Graves. But if they need to have the designated black person, because that's what it seems like, then you know what? put Booker T back on, find David Otunga, get his butt out of a law book, put him back on, and I hate David Otunga. But, hey, that just irks my nerves. It worked me this past week. These past 2 weeks, I've been kind of sitting on it, hoping for the best, expecting the worst. So as we roll into WrestleMania season, guys, just remember, the coach is back, and he sucks. That's my moment.
Wow. Now, let me ask you something, because, you're a commentator and stuff. And one of my big pet peeves as a wrestler is when referees try to have a gimmick. There's nothing worse than a referee who's like, this is my gimmick. Is that the same thing with commentators? Like, because I know, like, I work with a lot of companies that have commentators and stuff, and I'm very close to them, and I try to talk to them as much as possible. Because a good commentator can make or break a match or whatever. Do you think that they're, like, this is a gimmick for them? Do you think that they're trying to build up into how they had before, when it was who was it, Jim Ross and Michael Cole, where Corey Graves and the coach were going to end up in the match? Because we've seen the coach in the match before, and we know that Corey Graves is a former wrestler. So do you think they might be building up to having a match at WrestleMania?
I sure as hell hope not, for several reasons. One, if Corey Graves is back medically cleared to wrestle, Corey Graves is the former Sterling James Keaton, SJK. Screw his WWE stuff. Put the man back in the ring if he can wrestle. Don't put him in there against Coachman. Help me, Lord, don't put him against Michael Cole. Let him wrestle. But there's a reason that Coachman's back. The reason Coachman's back, I have no idea. But it's not just because ESPN was tired of him. It is very much possible that this is some gimmick to get him in a ring somewhere down the line. And it's the angle to me looks like with Corey Graves. Because if not, then somebody needs to put them down to the side. Maybe Vince is not listening to commentary, which I know is impossible, but somebody needs to sit them down and go, hey, assholes, this is Raw, the longest continuous running program in all of television. Do not put your personal agendas or your lack of chemistry forward on this show. Say that shit for WWE main event.
Now, I must say, how important is, because you're in the commentary booth, Mika, not only at Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, but also Mucha Lucha Atlanta and stuff, and you have a great partner. I'm not going to lie. Danny is an amazing partner for you to have. How hard is it to do that job if you don't have chemistry with the person you're sitting beside in the commentary booth?
It's extremely difficult. I've tried to do like just some mock commentary with other people, and if you don't know what to expect from that person or what that person's mindset or how you can lead that person along to tell a story that you're both watching, then it could be extremely difficult. Danny is a great partner for me, and we work together, I believe, well. But even us, we're a married little wrestling couple. We still have difficulty sometimes where we have to kind of stop and go back. So to throw somebody in there cold turkey like Coachman with somebody like Corey Graves, who's now coming to his own, he's not the new kid on the block. I believe Corey feels very established. So he probably is just kind of, I don't want to say rebelling, but he's probably just like, hey, I've been here. I've been putting in this work. I don't care where you came from. Kind of like that old vet coming back to pick up a spot where the young kids have been. Yeah, that's what's happening. That's what I feel is happening right now. So it's difficult enough. They need to, I don't know, spend time or something together to kind of mesh more. A 3-man booth is hard. It is very hard in general. And again, this is WWE. They've got all types of headphones, the people in their ear talking. So that 3-person booth is more like 6 to 8 people, because who knows how many people are actually talking to you as you're talking. So that's why it's like, hey, guys, this is, the voices in your head and the voices coming out of your mouth, they need to be on one accord, and they're not.
But look, I'm not going to just let you skip by the Super Bowl like that, okay? Because that was the perfect way to end my birthday weekend, was to watch Tom Brady. And I've heard all the football people and all, the football shows and Sports Center and Undisputed and Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless, and they've all said the same thing, Did you watch the Super Bowl, Mika?
I was too busy watching John Moxley. I turned it on for a couple of, I don't care. I really didn't.
What?
I turned it on for a few minutes, but for the most part, I really didn't care at all. I thought it was funny that the Eagles were winning, and then all of a sudden, here come the Patriots, and then people were losing their mind, like, oh, hell, the Patriots are going to win, and, it was close enough where it was like, okay, fine, whatever. I like the Patriots. I like Tom Brady, but I'm not, like, crying, yeah, Tom Brady. You know why I like Tom Brady?
No, I don't even want to think about it. I think you like Tom Brady just because I don't like Tom Brady.
Well, that's a huge part of it right there, but Tom Brady's hot. I like Tom Brady.
You like Tom Brady because he's attractive?
Hell yeah. Screw him and throwing limpy footballs. I don't care.
I'm so disappointed in you.
I know. I live for that. I love for that phrase. Anyway.
But look, it was a great game. And a lot of people, I said, all the sports football pundits were like, Tom Brady had the game of his career. It was the greatest performance ever by a Super Bowl quarterback. And the fact that he was 40 years old, threw for over 500 yards, and still lost. Now, of course, they're blaming it all on his defense and stuff. The reason why I'm bringing it up, because in wrestling, what do you say when somebody, is the best wrestler of all time, but they have a horrible match? Are they still the best wrestler of all time if you have a bad match?
Yes. You can't take away from everything you've achieved. Tom Brady threw for 550 yards. Again, I didn't watch, but I got stats, okay? And he still lost the game. Tom Brady does not throw to himself. Sure, he didn't catch that pass, but that's not his forte. His forte is to throw balls to people.
No. His forte is to be a football player.
No, to be a quarterback.
He's never tried to catch a football.
Hey, not like that. Not in the heat of the moment. I mean, you practice it, yes, but again, that's not what his set goal is. That's not his instinct. That's not his move set, so to speak. It's in his repertoire. He has done it before, but it's not in his move set. So, again, all craziness aside, yes, he had the greatest game ever. His receivers, everybody caught the ball. But Tom Brady doesn't play defense. He didn't stop the other team from scoring. The only thing he could do was score or help his team score themselves. He is still one of the great quarterbacks on. Win, lose, or draw, you can't take away from his stats. You can call into question the deflated balls and the cheating on the microphones, the reading of lips, and all this other stuff. But the fact of the matter is, just like in wrestling, in the history books, it does not have asterisks. It has Patriots win rings this year. Unfortunately, this year they lost. Tom Brady was a quarterback of how many winning Super Bowl teams?
5.
Exactly. You can't take that away from him no matter what.
But, I mean, 5 out of 8. Does that still make him the greatest?
Everybody loses. Everybody can't win them all. Michael Jordan didn't win all the. Michael Jordan did not win every. Okay, shut up. Not every. Michael Jordan won every NBA championship he was in. But not every. He didn't make it every time. They were in the finals. Not the finals. Excuse me. They went into rounds, but they didn't make it to the championship every time. When they made it to the final round, yes, they won. But you still have to put the work in to get there. And they put the work in some seasons and didn't make it. That didn't make them a bad team. It just wasn't their year. There were other teams that were better. This year, the Eagles, congratulations. You're better. Your city, I don't know if Philly is still on the map. I saw some rioting and crazy.
Somebody said it was the purge come to life. This city of Philadelphia. Like, I watched videos, and it was just like, if somebody would flip my car over just because a team won a championship. I already told you, I'm too old to be fighting. I got arthritis. I got concussions. I got wrestler back. Like, I'm just going to start shooting. Like, there's no way. Like, they were just flipping people's cars over and setting stuff on fire and throwing food in restaurants. Like, it was ridiculous.
And see, the problem with that whole shooting thing, those people thought they were shooting back. When they started to grease light poles before the whole game, I was like, what the hell kind of city is this? They're going to win and, like, climb light poles? Apparently, yes. And set them on fire. Congratulations, guys. Your team won, and you just caused how many millions of dollars worth of damage. And, guess what? They're going to break up their team and sell it off so they don't do that shit next year. That's the championship point right there.
Well, speaking of ridiculous, because, ladies and gentlemen, like I said earlier in the show, our esteemed colleague, Mika Villas, is a co-host for several other shows. And I don't know if you saw this, but she was on a show recently. Matter of fact, yesterday. I'm going to go ahead and put the show over. Jeffrey's Show Live. Mika was there, and my former tag team partner, Joe Black, Joseph Agal, I don't know what he's going by now. Peter Pan, Rufio, I don't know, little internet could. He was a guest on the show and was talking pretty bad about me. And Mika, I would think as my homie, you would have stuck up for me. In the words of the Hurricane, what up with that?
First and foremost, I was only on that show for the drinks. The water, the bottled water, it was fantastic, okay? I was not there to be a co-host. It just kind of turned out that way. The bottled water was fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. Bottled water.
You went all the way to the show for some bottled water.
Damn straight. I like water.
Was it Himalayan purified water? Blessed by monks. Blessed by Tibetan monks.
Exactly. So you've had this water. Okay, cool. Secondly.
I might have heard of it.
Secondly, let's talk about your former tag team partner, Joe Black. Joe Black is about, 230 pounds of angry black man.
He is not.
Whatever. I don't care.
Okay.
Whatever he is, he outweighs me. He sure as shit outmuscles me. And I was not getting my ass kicked on behalf of nobody. My ass is nice and secure by shutting the fuck up. I know my place. Pardon my French.
You know your place on that show. See what I'm saying?
Listen. There was a space between us, and I wanted to keep it that way just in case he had a fucking flash and was like, "Oh, you fuck with Huckabee." No! I needed space to run.
He said you messed with Huckabee and you said no and ran and ducked.
Listen, again, I'm a girl who wears glasses. I was not going to get my ass kicked for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the rest of the Nerdcast would like to wish Mika Villas the best in her future endeavors. May she get all the waffles and unsolicited pics that her heart contains or her inbox.
You're wrong. Yeah. Listen, you guys can fight it out. The war of words.
Well, he already said that he didn't want to fight. He already said he didn't want to have another match. But you know what? It's fine because I sit up here. I know the real Joe Black. I know the real Joseph Agal. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? And eventually, I'm going to make my way onto the Jeffrey Live show so I can tell my side of the story.
And listen, I'm sure that would be an awesome, awesome story to tell. And again, I've never heard Joe say more than 4 or 5 words. He spoke a whole lot. Again, a mind fuck for me because I was like, oh my God, he talks. And he's very articulate. That's scary as hell, man. I've seen stuff he done in the gym. I've seen your matches, okay, against one another and together. What would you want me to do? You want me to set him off? Do I look cute? Yes. Do I look cute with black eyes? Hell to the no. I'm so sorry. I sat there. I looked cute. I drank my water, which was awesome, by the way. That water was good.
The Himalayan purified water blessed by Tibetan monks.
Damn straight. I got some right now in this red Solo cup, okay?
Well, speaking of red Solo cups, because we speak about red Solo cups, you got to talk about sipping on some tea. And talking about sipping on tea, we're going to talk to our tonight's guest. Because if you follow him on social media today, you saw him sipping some tea. And hopefully on today's show, he's going to spill all the tea. And we'll talk to our guests right after these words from our sponsors.
Indie Custom sponsored athlete Amber Young works with her local YMCA and A Place to Dream building beds for children in low-income families.
A Place to Dream is a program that the family YMCA of Greater Augusta is doing. The CSRA has many wonderful social services agencies helping low-income families obtain housing, but few help these families turn their housing into functional homes.
Consequently, residents are forced to sleep on the floor, air mattresses, sofas, or crowded into a bed with other family members. Recent studies link poor sleep with cognitive, physical, and even behavioral health issues. People who do not get enough quality sleep have poor concentration, weaker immune systems, and increased risk of obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and heart disease.
Research has found that children with proper bedding sleep an average of 20 minutes more each night than children who have unfavorable sleeping arrangements. That's more than 2 hours per week. The family YMCA staff and volunteers are going into these low-income housing authorities and building the beds, making the beds, and just getting to know the families, all for the children. We currently have done 3 different days and delivered over 120 plus beds for the children.
Please remember, shirts are only $20 and all proceeds will go to A Place to Dream. Make sure to send your payments to www.paypal.me/IndieCustoms. And remember to include your sizes and your addresses plus $3 for shipping. And thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Once again, this is the Wrestling Nerdcast, brought to you by the AngryMarks Podcast Network. Saying a huge thank you to our sponsors, Indie Customs. Be sure to follow them on Facebook, follow them on Twitter, Indie Customs. Be sure to buy some merchandise from all their sponsored athletes, such as the aforementioned Joe Black, James Drake, and the Gymnasty Boys. I'm trying to think the list goes. Mr. Sleaze, who's a friend of this show. Be sure to go and buy a TJ Boss shirt. He got injured during the PWX X16. Be sure to buy a shirt, support him, and also buy some merchandise from this show as well. While you're at it, follow them on social media. Be sure to check out our friends at Pro Wrestling World on Facebook. Be there, go there, check out all of your Pro Wrestling World needs, discussions, news, etc., from WWE, Impact Wrestling, New Japan, Libre, CMLL, AAA, and hundreds of dozens of thousands of independent wrestling companies around the world. Now, like I was saying before, talking about tonight's guest. Some people call him Sleazy. Some people call him Pistol. Some people call him a great friend, but tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to call him by his name, but you might find him on Twitter, Mr. Scene Nick. What's going on, Nick? How you doing tonight, man?
Hey, pretty good. Just hanging, you know?
Yeah, now I'm gonna tell you the truth, man, because the owner of the network, Stevie J, was asking me who you were, and I was like, he's an uber wrestling fan. Like, he's the kind of wrestling fan that you wished all wrestling fans were like. He supports independent wrestling. You know, you share their social media posts, you retweet their tweets, you buy their merchandise, and you just support shows and stuff. Even for shows that you can't actually physically attend, you try to do your best to support indie wrestling. Why is that? What makes you such a great wrestling fan?
Oh, man, that's an awesome intro right there. No, really, it's just showing that support, showing appreciation for what the men and women do. I've been a fan for years, since my father set me down, March 27th, 1988, First Clash of Champions, Sting versus Flair. Been a fan hooked since that day. Just want to support the industry as much as I can, even if I can't be at the shows. There are plenty I'd love to be at, but I can never get there. But
you might not, Nick, you might not even know that, but that Clash of Champions in '88, Mika was also in the building there as well. Except for she was like celebrating her. Yeah, but she was like celebrating her 40th birthday or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, God. Damn.
Now, Nick, I'm going to just go ahead. What, Mika? What? Mika wants to say something crazy. Go ahead, Mika.
I dislike you. That's all I was going to say. That's not crazy. That's truth.
Mm-hmm. Because, Nick, not only are you a fan, but you're actually working very closely with Southern Fried Wrestling down in Georgia and stuff, man. How did that happen, man? Like, how in the world did you actually link up with a wrestling company? And not only, like I said, do you share all of the social media posts, but you're actually, backstage working with the company and stuff. How in the world did that happen?
Oh, man. Really serendipity. I've been sharing posters and kind of promoting as much as I can since around maybe like 2015, around that time. A little before then, but off and on. And I really became more involved around 2017 and 2016. And I even kind of have a few posts saying, hint, hint, I'd love to work for a wrestling company exclusively, and all this. No one ever really picked up on that, but Southern Fried did, and I get a message from Charles saying, hey, would you like to work with us and help us grow a social media presence, link us up with guys that might want to come in, and, the list goes on, go from there. And that's how it came to be, and I jumped at opportunity and said yes.
Well, that's like
great relationship.
I was going to ask you, like, how is it working with Southern Fried stuff. Like, how's the relationship between you and the owner, Charles?
It's really great. I go back and forth, give him input on, say, hey, I want to bring X guy in, Y, all this stuff. You know, it's hit or miss. Sometimes he'll say, yeah, you know what, I'll bring him in, we'll book him, we'll do this. Other times it's like, well, okay, go ask the booker. And when I hear that, I'm like, oh, well, that's not going to happen. But I still persist and nag anyway. And I have my occasions where I get my way of who I want to bring in, and a lot of misses when I don't get that chance. But hey, it's all part of learning and growing.
I'm about to say, I know I was on the list of the misses, because I know you had messaged me and you was like, hey, you ever thought about working for Southern Fried? And I was like, yeah, man, like I would be more than willing to come to Southern Fried. And you know, I know that I'm not everybody's cup of tea. So, but it's cool because for every no, and it's something that you post a lot on your social media because you're a super positive guy. Seeing Nick, ladies and gentlemen, is super positive. Every once in a while, you know, different sides of Nick come out, and we're going to talk to all three sides of Seeing Nick tonight. But Seeing Nick is super positive. It's something I've learned from reading not only other people's Facebook posts, but your Facebook posts, is that just because somebody says no doesn't mean that means no forever. It just means not right now.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of not right now, go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you're fine. I was just going to say, and that applies to a lot of guys who are trying to get them in. Like, there are some, like, at first, when I first started, I wanted Effie. I had never seen him here in Georgia. I said, we got to get Effie in. And that was, you know, at first it was like, not right now, no. I kept persisting. Each time I do that, the guy, eventually we get him in. So anyone that's been that no, you know, not to brag, but I keep mentioning the name, and eventually I get my way.
Now, speaking of somebody who keeps nagging, always trying to get their way, I'm going to hand you over and let you speak to my co-host, the lover of waffles, the voice of the speech impediment, Miss Hashtag What That Mouth Do, Mika Villas. Mika, what do you have for our guest tonight?
What up, Nick? All right.
What's up?
You know, I'm hanging with Huckabee, so that right there deserves a whole kind of award. But, you know, I digress. I will be the good one here because I've been on the road with you. You and I have traveled up and down these roads, going from show to show here. And I've had...
And you survived.
I did. I don't know how. Because there are some things that that kind of get you, that kind of turn you into Pistol Nick, makes some shooting happen. Please share, and don't hold back. You can feel free to name names or give as much information about the person as possible, or people, or things, or promotions that we'll just figure it out.
Hold on, Mika. We're still talking to Scene Nick.
I don't want Scene Nick.
No, we gonna talk.
I want Pistol Nick.
No. We gonna get the Pistol Nick. All right, but first we gotta go get Nick. This is the lockup, all right? Well, this is still the shine. You got to shine the baby face up first before you get to the heat, all right? Let's see you shine first, all right, before we get to the heat.
Fine, I'll work a rest hold here for a second then. All right, fine. Coming back to the nice Nick. Who are some of the people, because you said, you know, in 1988 or whatever, and you kind of got hooked in wrestling, who are some of your favorite wrestlers, maybe independent and professional, from, like, growing up to, like, girls? Who are some of the people that you're just, like, totally and completely, like, gaga over? Gaga.
Oh, man, independent and current? Lady Gaga? No.
Lady Gaga, she wrestles.
Yeah, I saw that one. She wrestled some meat once. Kind of cool.
Wow. Sorry.
But,
Mika has wrestled. Hey, Nick, Mika has wrestled some meat before too.
I hate you.
I heard about that.
I hate you all. Okay.
Lord. But current favorites right now in the independent scene, like I posted once on, I tweeted in this instance, I don't like the typical indie darlings. I think they're overrated, and I'm not really into the super kickers of the world. My thing is people that work hard, have a good attitude, work ethic, have those subtle nuances of their character, presence, everything. people like Andrew Duckworth, who goes by Pale Horse Josie Quinn now. He's one. Elijah Evans. The Carnies, of course.
Will Huckabee.
Don't say Huckabee,
Will
please.
Huckabee, because Huck smashes each time he gets in the ring. I even saw him do a 450 almost, but it was still cool looking. I like that. I still got the video.
Ooh, for a small fee, I might not release that video. Anyway, so yeah, you talk about the Carnies, you talk about Andrew Duckworth or Josie Quinn, he is now. What draws somebody, what do you feel, like if you were talking to someone fresh, kind of like sort of interested in wrestling, but not really, how do you convince that person on the fence to kind of buy into those people that you like and to buy into wrestling, especially independent wrestling as a whole?
Well, typically before any of the moves start, I'm one of those people I believe in character. Sometimes that goes through the presence of how they are, their being, how they are in the ring or before they go out there. So I'll kind of direct them into that vein there and kind of go from there. I was like, oh, yo, this guy right here, you see how intimidating he is. He's tough. He wants, kind of draw him in that way because that appeals to him, especially if let's say it was one of my MMA friends. Like, okay, that guy looks legit. He can kick ass. I'm going to watch this. It's all about kind of that. And I look for that in people that eventually, when it comes to Southern Fried, that will kind of draw a house in, that will be the ones that do promos, that will promote the show. O'Shea Edwards is one of those people, by the way. Does a phenomenal job promoting shows.
He got beat by
promos,
Scrappy. He got beat by Stevie J and Lil Scrappy.
Stop it.
Oh, yeah, well.
He got beat up by Lil Scrappy, Stevie J. Just thought I should mention that.
I think his partner let him down, but yeah, O'Shea Edwards is really good at that, promoting and talking about shows.
And also kind of like going along with that story too, of whatever it is, and with Southern Fried, for instance, if there's no story at all, he'll take the ball and make a story out of whatever he's in situation, and I really appreciate that about him. Josie Quinn does that as well. Matt Kenway has come into his own doing that. And of course, Effie. I mean, how can I not love Effie?
Oh, who doesn't love Effie? Whoever doesn't love Effie, they're just not real people. They're just horrible, horrible people. And speaking of horrible, horrible people, I'm going to let you talk back to Will Huckabee because he's horrible. But I know, I'm the nice one. He's the bad one. It's just kind of how it is. I'm sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is the Wrestling Nerdcast on the Angry Marks Podcast Network. Huge shout out once again to our sponsors, Indie Customs. Check them out on Facebook. Check them out on Twitter. Also, I want to say what's up to our friends at Pro Wrestling World. Be sure to check them out on Facebook as usual for all of your pro wrestling needs as far as matches and news and what shows are happening and who needs to do what and where. As usual, like I said, I'm your host, Will Huckabee, with Mika Villas, and tonight's guest, the incredible Scene Nick. Now, we've got the shine out the way, Mika. It's time to get into the heat.
Work it.
Uh-oh.
Because, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know, but our guest has more in common with Mick Foley than he knows. Just like Mick Foley was Cactus Jack and Mankind and Mick Foley, there's three personalities to our guest tonight. You have seen Nick, you know what I'm saying? And that's the baby face. That's the one who stays positive on Facebook. And every once in a while, like you saw on social media today, if you checked out his Facebook, if you looked at his Twitter, he'll grab his Carney's cup and he'll take a sip of his tea. Or, in the words of Mika Villas, he'll have his Himalayan purified water blessed by Tibetan monks. And he turns to Pistol Nick. That's the man we're going to talk to now. Pistol Nick, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up?
Now, Mika kind of hinted at it earlier in the show that, and we've seen on Facebook, that every once in a while, just like everybody else, you get in your moods and, not everybody, just because you support independent wrestling, you support independent wrestlers, doesn't mean that you have to like everybody. Now, I'm going to ask you, because I've seen on social media that you have a huge problem with one Cameron Cage. I'm going to ask, man, where did that start? How did that start?
Oh, man, where do I begin about that piece of shit? Oh, I'm sorry. This is how it all started.
It's okay. Shoot away.
This is how it started. I think it was around June last year. I was new working in Southern Fried, and I put out, usually in the shows in Monroe, for whatever reason, Uber hates Monroe. I can get there, can't get back. So I did a Facebook post. I'm one of those people, I hate asking folks for rides even when I really need it. And usually sometimes at the shows, Odinson would give me a lift home, but he had left early that night. I think his wife was sick. So I made a post asking, for a ride, saying, hey, I'm stranded in Monroe again. Then I get a notification, and it's a laughing emoji. I'm like, okay, let me delete this because I want people to know I'm serious. I actually need help. I'm stranded here. And repost it, get the same thing. Both times it's from Cameron Cade. The second time he comments, saying I'm a fucking loser. Why don't you get a car? Deleted the post again. Luckily, some fans are out there. They got me kind of near in the area where I can get Uber. I had some other people reach out. AJ Gray, he had a show around the Atlanta area. He even offered to come get me, but I ended up getting home anyway. Eventually, this took longer, but that really pissed me off because, well, a lot of people don't know, and I kind of post with my health issues. Medically, I can't drive. My right leg has a lot of issues. So, and because of that, I had to always either ride with someone or get Uber. And when he did that, it's just really I'm like, damn, that really devastated me. And, I was being scenic where I hear about his reputation, how he's a douche. But I said, no, I'll give him a chance. I'll friend him on Facebook, whatever. Then for that all to be proven correct that he is a douche, that's like, damn, I was wrong.
Now, Nick, I'm gonna say this real quick because I know Cameron Cade and stuff, and I've never had any bad words with Cameron, so I'm not so Cameron. When you hear this, I know somebody's gonna tell him. I've never had a personal issue with Cameron Cade. Do you think he was just being funny? Do you think he was just because Cameron Cade, he's a carny man. No pun intended. He's always working, always working. See his Facebook posts. He has a really slick mouth and stuff. Did you actually message him? Send him a DM, get all up in the DMs as the young kids say, and talk to him and say, hey man, what's going on?
At that instant, I didn't that time because once that happened, I was like, okay, I'm done. Everyone, what they told me was right, and I just kind of shut down from there. And fast forward to now, I'm the kind of person I'm willing to give folks a second chance, understanding. I mentioned about me. And when I'm hearing someone that's still kind of running their mouth about me, I'm like, okay, I don't know. So the jury's still out on that.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. Let's fast forward. Let's get away from Cameron Cade and stuff, man. Because I want to see that because I know Mika's waiting. I'm waiting also, man. What's this tea that you may or may not spill, man? We want to hear. We need an exclusive from Pistol Nick, man. So go ahead and put out the 50 cal and go ahead and blaze somebody.
Oh man. You really want me to blaze some folks?
Kill them all.
Yeah, I know Mika's waiting.
Oh, boy. Okay. Do I have to mention their name? Because it just might change.
No, you don't got to
give enough hints.
You don't got to mention no names. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to mention names, you don't have to mention names. Just tell us about how about you tell us about some of the things as a fan? Because on this podcast, we don't just talk to wrestlers. We talk to promoters. We talk to Kimberly Ann, who's the owner of Indie Customs. We're going to start talking to photographers and everybody and like I said, Mika's a commentator and stuff. So as a fan, what really irks you when it comes to professional wrestlers?
Oh my God. What doesn't? When you get guys that they have merch at shows, they did a phenomenal job. It got everyone kind of hooked and stuff that they want to support them. But you don't have any PayPal.
Oh.
You don't have Square. What the hell are you thinking in 2000? At the time 17 and now 18. You still doing business like 80s when you want someone to write a check?
You right about that, man.
What the hell is wrong with you?
2018, you gotta have PayPal. I'm surprised when guys don't have PayPal now.
Yeah, because it was a team I've been wanting to come to AW for a while. They came last year, did a phenomenal job. No PayPal. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, people barely even carry cash anymore. What the hell world are you living in? It's like,
exactly.
You know, get together. You miss out on all kinds of money you can get at that show. You don't offer these kind of services, which are affordable. So all you got to do is tell that fan, hey, do it as friends and family for me. That's it.
That's it. Now, speaking of friends and family,
nothing.
Speaking of friends and family, because she's neither, I'm going to hand it over to Mika because I know that she has some questions for Pistol Nick.
Oh, yeah. I got you.
Now that we can go and talk to the bad Nick, you talk about...
Is he really bad?
Maybe the blunt truth or the bold truth or the unfettered truth, just kind of letting it go. You're being relatively nice right now, and you know that if nobody else knows, I realize that because again, we've traveled. I've heard Pistol Nick on a lot of occasions, kind of go off on a tangent. So today you were pretty worked up. There was something, There was something grinding your gears there, and this is the time and the place and the absolute opportune space to just let it go. Again, you don't have to say names. I mean, because as you've said before, they know who they are. So just let it ride. Don't hold back.
When promoters get in my DMs asking me to find their ass a venue, and I'm not getting any money from it. Oof. Now, I do a lot of things for free, but when it comes to venue booking, yeah, you got to pay something. Just saying.
Hold on, Nick. No, you're gonna drop a dime on this one. Oh, no. Oh, hell to this dog. You're going to drop a dime on this one. What promoter messaged you asking about a venue?
Well, I'll put it this way. It was a fan of the promoter who's trying to work in sync behind. I think the promoter sent him. But, oh, boy. You really don't even mention this name.
Man, look, Mika, I got to pull a murder one. I got to pull a murder one on this one. Like, hell no, homie. You going to tell us which one of these promoters sent somebody to ask to help them find a video?
Now, I don't know who he was trying to do a show for, but it's a guy who's done photography. And it was Lanny Knight. He got in my messages, asked me to find him a venue, this and that. Well, what about this one or what about that one and all this? I was like, okay, who are you working for? 'Cause I know who you're friends with, but who's asked for this? Oh, don't worry about that. Okay, I'm going to worry about it 'cause I want some money now. What's up? If I'm going to do that extra work for you, find you something so you can look good and smell like a rose, I need some money. Or, hell, give me some kind of cut of what's going on. I don't know.
Wow.
This is my thing on that. Yeah. I do a lot of things for free, and I don't get paid. Even what I'm doing now, you think I'm getting money from Southern Fried? I do this for free 'cause I love it. But if someone's going to, let me put it this way, too. When I have wrestlers that demand that I get them bookings,
if you're going
to demand it, if you get my messages, if you get my messages saying something like that, that means I work for you. Which also means you had to pay me. I'm working as an agent. I want half of your booking fee. If you come at me in a threatening tone.
Not half. I mean, damn, you can at least say just 15%. Like, damn, you take half? You worse than child support,
man. I'm doing, not the child support. If I'm doing all the legwork, getting into booking, talking to these people, because sometimes some promoters are hard-headed. It's a lot of talking involved, a lot of negotiating, or in most of the cases, a lot of messaging, a lot of thumbs going. I need to know that, if I'm going to be forcing someone, look, get me a booking now, blah, blah, blah. If I'm going to be talked to like that, you got to pay me.
Don't want to drop some names there and say who just slid up in there all backwards and, said, get me a booking. Because I'm pretty sure you didn't get them a booking after that.
Oh, hell no. I'm kind of on, and typically I don't curse, but I'm kind of on the tank flow when it comes to some of that. No shitbirds allowed.
Oh, there it is.
You know what? I think that's the first time that the phrase shitbirds has been messaged or been uttered on this show.
Wow.
We actually have a first, ladies and gentlemen. The phrase shitbirds has finally been used on the Wrestling Nerdcast. Shout out to Tank down there in Georgia.
Damn straight.
And I look at some guys like that want opportunities that say, I don't know what's happening. I don't know why I'm not getting this. Sometimes I got to be rough on them because a lot of things I do on Messenger, and y'all might see me being active on there, I'm motivating people. I'm trying to tell them, no, hang in there, don't give up, don't quit. You got to keep going. That's the scenic part. The pistolnik part comes in when I see guys doing the same thing, even after I motivated them. They're not doing their job. They're not promoting the show. They're not engaging on social media, nothing. And I get in their face about it. I'm like, this is why your ass had a whole month of December unbooked because you did not want to promote one show. You showed up late to the show. You canceled on promoter twice. Come on, really? And then you want to get on social media and whine about it? That's the first social media post you make is a whining one?
Wow. Now, when you go ahead, no.
And, there's some guys that they've been in for a while. They're still young, but they've been in for a while. You should know better. That's my thing, know better. And I've had this talk. I name drop, and I love him to death, but sometimes, I have issues with Johnny Nix. I know he can do better. He has a lot of talent, but, he's doing better with social media, but a few months ago, he had me pissed.
Ooh. So when you talk to, like, somebody like Johnny Nix and you kind of, how is that received? Because for all practical purposes, you're not a worker. And I know there's a lot of huge egos, Huckabees included, of course, that are in wrestling from all aspects. So how does that, how do you get that message through to these egos, or when you come as Pistol Nick to these egos? How's that work?
It's really all about, engaging. If I have that relationship with them where, I have been messaging you, we kind of talk back and forth for a while, and you start asking me for ideas, and after that you start messing up, and then you really want me to still help you out with bookings, all that stuff. You're not doing your part. That's when I had that conversation with him, and I even warned him. I said, look, I'm not going to be a nice guy with this. If you don't like it, by all means, you can unfriend, block. My feelings aren't hurt. But I got to tell you this before some promoter gets in your face in front of a locker room of people and says this to you. I just want to help. Mm-hmm.
That mean for their own good. That's kind of tough love, huh?
Yeah, and it's hard for me to give, but I think about way back in the day before it became extremely ugly is when I modeled. You got to show up. You got to be there for those bookings. You got to be on time. You got to be early. You got to be enthusiastic. You got to have the energy going, and you got to do your job. If you're not doing that, you're going to be insulted in front of a room of people who wants your spot, by the way. Same differences. They want your spot. They want your position, and they'll be sitting there snickering and everything else, and you're sitting there, your feelings hurt. It's like, why go through that? Listen, try to listen to someone that's trying to help you out here, even if that may be a little rough at times.
Speaking of a little rough at times, that was the nicest way I could segue into this. I'm going to let you talk back to, what's your name again? Oh, Huckabee.
Lord.
Oh. Well, thank you very much, sir. Anyway, Nick, like I said before, once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Wrestling Nerdcast on the Angry Marks Podcast Network. Tonight we're speaking to Southern Fried Wrestling employee and super uber wrestling fan, Scene Nick. Now, Nick, like I said before, there's three personalities, man. It's like the Holy Trinity, the Father, Son, the Holy Ghost. But in this situation, we got Scene Pistol and Sleazy Nick. Now, I met you as Sleazy Nick. The first memory I have of you is an AEW show. It's myself and Joe Black. It's myself and Joe Black versus Booty Call, which was one of my favorite tag teams of all time, Kiera Hogan and Corey Ryan. During the Bill and Ted's Excellent Tag Team, Bill and Stan's Excellent Tag Team tournament for Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment. And ladies and gentlemen, I know if you watch wrestling and stuff, you've seen not only, the dick flip that Joey Ryan does, and covers dousing himself in baby oil, but he has the lollipop. Now, I would admit, ladies and gentlemen, on this day, I took the first lollipop, okay? He was holding around, and I took the first lollipop because he had it in his mouth, and he was like, who wants the lollipop? And I was like, yo, Joe, because it was myself and Joe versus Kiera Joyride versus the Carnies. And that already told the boys in the back, like, yo, I'm going to rib the hell out of Joyride. This shit is going to be hilarious. Wait for it. And everybody was asking me, what are you going to do? I was like, just wait. It's going to be legend fucking dairy. So Joyride comes out. He has a lollipop. He's like, who wants a lollipop? And he's holding it around, the one that's in his mouth, and I just grab his wrist, and I take it, and I pop it in my mouth, and I bite it, because I'm a fat kid, and I wanted the gum, actually, because I wanted to be like Shawn Michaels and chew gum during the match. And I gave him back just a stick. And then he was like, he looks at the stick, and he's like, well, that was rude. And he throws it, and then he pulls one out of his trucks. He's like, who wants a lollipop? And all of a sudden, there's Sleazy Nick. What was I've been wanting to ask you this since I've known you, Nick. What in the hell were you thinking taking a lollipop out of a grown man's tights?
I was thinking that Will Huckabee just messed up everything for me because I wanted one from his mouth. I said, I'm a man of my work. I had posted about it. I said, I'm going to get this bull pop. Then when you took it, I'm like, damn. And then he pulled the other one. I said, well, you know, I said I was going to do it. I did it. It was great, too.
Yeah. Was that, like, I'm going to ask you, was that the official night that Sleazy Nick was born?
Yes, that was the night. Sleazy Nick, my life forever changed that night.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man, because I've seen a lot of things in my 12 years of wrestling. I've never in my life really seen a crowd of 100-plus people chant, not at a wrestler, but at a fan, you sick fuck. Question number two, Nick. Did you even cross your mind to think that this lollipop has been beside this man's balls?
Damn.
Think he just thought about it now.
Wow. Now that you mention it, well, look, all I know is there wasn't any hair in it. That's all I know.
Oh, God.
I did look before I put it in my mouth. I looked.
Oh, Lord.
I'm just saying, like I said, it's like, because I took the first lollipop and they put the second one out. And I didn't even know he had a second one, to tell you the truth. And he put that one out, and then there was like, you know, he handed you, and I was like, who the hell took the second one? And then there's you, and I was like, what the? Oh, come on,
I'm
man.
hardcore. What can I say?
Like, yo.
I'm hardcore. What can I say?
Because I think, did he not offer me the second one first? I'm like, nah, you got it. Like, you can have that one. I'm good. Because I think he pulled that one out. He looked at me first, like, you want this one? I was like, no. Yeah, I'm good. You can keep that one to your damn self. And then he holds it up and
I'm screaming.
Like, yes.
I'm screaming like, me. And I get it. I mean, he puts it right in my mouth. Oh, good. All right.
Okay, before I hand it to me, did you eat the whole damn lollipop, man?
You know what's weird? I kept licking it and stuff until like I got the gum.
You kept, come on. Look, I'm not, look.
Well?
Look. I'm gonna go ahead and say right now, okay? Because we've had a really close friend of mine, Blake Jones, who's been on the show, and I'm from North Carolina. I don't judge anybody for what they do. I have a family member. I have one of my best friends is gay. One of my brothers is gay. I'm not going to ask you your sexual orientation on this show, but you can't come up here and say I just licked it until I got to the gum.
He didn't say creamy center.
Like I'm not like Nick. I'm not even gonna, like I said. I'm not even gonna ask you sexual orientation. I'm just telling you, you can't say I just licked it till I got to the gum.
That orientation's been up for debate for a while now, but amongst fans. But that was the best damn blow pop I ever had in my life.
Oh gosh.
You know what?
I hadn't had one in about 20 years, but still.
Nick, damn it, you know what? It better. I can't even talk bad about that, Nick, because like I took the dick flip later on that match. So like you had his penis lollipop in your mouth, and then I had my hands on his dick. So I guess you know both of us are in the same boat. You know what I'm saying? Like I got dicky hands, and you got ball mouth. I don't know.
Hey, the cool thing is, I had gum after, so it didn't smell like it. So, you know, hey, I'm just saying.
Like, you know what? Put us together, Nick, and Jim Cornette makes both of us. Like Jim Cornette. Like Jim Cornette would hate both. You took a dick flip and you took the goddamn lollipop. Like Jim Cornette would probably shoot both of us in the face. You know that, right?
Jesus.
Jeez. I don't know. He might have a heart attack. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
That might be the thing that kills him. I don't know.
Well, speaking of heart attacks, because she's given plenty of people on social media heart attacks. Here's the reason why she's the receiver of all things unsolicited. I'm going to give my co-host, Nika Villas, a chance to speak to the sleazy Nick.
Oh, I don't know if I can even come close and compare to Dickie Hand and Ball Mouth, but...
You said come. I like that.
Oh, Jesus,
you said come. I like that.
All right. See, this is Sleazy Nick. That is like seriously, truly Sleazy Nick. Every word that manifests, can't say come, out or around is just dirty for
a man in Fest. There is a man in Fest. His name is F.E. That's gonna be on the 9th and 10th this month.
That is where I was going with this, and the sleazy challenge. Oh, the sleazy challenge. For those who may not be aware, can you tell us what the sleazy challenge is?
You want the long version or the short version?
I usually like it long, but from you, I'll take it short.
I like that now.
I figured you did.
Well, essentially, it started kind of like an equality thing because a lot of friends I had, they're all wrestling's gay, this is gay, blah, blah. That's kind of why the whole Joey Ryan blow-pop thing started, too. Then fast forward a few months later, out of the blue, Slade Porter kisses me. Back before he became the evil graduate.
He just kissed
you,
just like
the goofy one.
He just grabbed you and kissed you?
Cause I was giving him, I was like, oh, you kissed Crunch, you didn't kiss me. He's like, oh, you want one? I'm like, and then he just does that. And then that show of the year, that year, 2016, he kisses me a second time. Yeah.
So
it tastes like Hot Pockets both times.
Oh my gosh. Hot Pockets? Slade Porter tastes like Hot Pockets is basically what you're saying.
Well, you know, the Kroger kind, not the brand name, but yeah, still.
Slade Porter tastes like off-market Hot Pockets. Okay, all right.
A little Sam's Choicey, you know, just a little Sam's Choicey.
So as Slade Porter and his off-brand Hot Pockets kind of started the sleazy challenge, let's talk about other people who have participated in this event. What are the qualifications for the sleazy challenge? Because there are certain parameters that you have to adhere to in order to participate in this challenge. It's not open to everybody.
Yes, it is not. It is an exclusive list, and the rules are as follows. You had to be 35. Well, you had to be age 19 to 35. Can't be married. That's it.
Well, what about...
You out of it?
You were out of it like 15 years ago, so all right. I forgot. There's been more males than females, but there are a couple girls, or at least one that I know about, who've participated. Am I right, or is there more women that I? Because this seems to be a more male-dominated challenge.
How can I say I like my dudes? You know.
You like your dudes.
Sleazy Nick. When it comes to Sleazy Nick has no sexual boundaries.
Gotcha. So let's talk about no boundaries.
Wink, wink.
God, no boundaries. Who's the best sleazy challenge? Because we already know Hot Pockets did not get the dupe here. Who's the best? Who was the one who, I don't know, tastes like, I don't want to say Hennessy or whatever, but who was the best?
Damn, I want some Hennessy now. Where murder at? He let me try it for the first time. Mine was blown.
Yes.
I'll never go to anything else. But I'll give you the worst challenge ever. And, you know, I'm sorry, but Jay Newman, it was a 1 minute long sleazy challenge for charity. We donated $50. But, yeah, Sleazy Nick may still be, you know, riding the fence, but C. Nick confirmed that he was straight after kissing Jay Newman.
Wow.
So, yeah, that was the worst one. The best one, and it was the shortest one. I said short again, but still the best ride. Was Effie.
Effie. Oh, Effie. Is that the one from PWX?
Yes. Runner-up goes to White Mike, though. He did it twice.
White Mike will do everything twice. I don't know if that counts, but okay.
I'm still going for a third time, but you know.
So, all right. So you got Effie is the best. White Mike you're going for 3. Is there anybody, male, female, out there who you maybe want to get a little sleazy with, challenge-wise?
Oh, God. Man. Oh, let's see.
Oh, my gosh.
Will Huckabee.
You're disqualified.
Way over 35 there, Huckabee. Sorry.
Happily married, over 35.
Sleazy Nick discriminates. His age discrimination.
I'm waiting for that to come next. He's discriminating. I might have bumped up to 40 since I'm kind of getting near that running for president mark, but yeah. Future sleazy challenges. Let's talk about sleazy dudes first. Here's a person that Will Huckabee's familiar with, Bo Crockett. Let's put him on the list.
Oh,
I want to taste for the Bo Show. I want to taste for the Bo Show. Let's make that happen.
All
right. I want to see if he tastes like nerd. Let's make that happen. But what kind of nerd? Star Trek nerd or Star Wars nerd?
Oh, wow.
There's a difference. Secondly, the entire Viking War Party.
The entire Viking War Party?
Yeah.
All of them? Like, there's 3 of them.
Yeah. Well, 4. Kyle Van Hammer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. All 3 of them. I would figure if you get hair anywhere, it'd be there. I'm just saying.
Hair. Everywhere. Who else? How about Shotsky?
Shotsky Blackheart. I think she probably scream at you before she gets sleazy with you. Just saying. I like it, though.
I like screamers.
Shut up.
I forgot that the Scream Queen, isn't she?
Shut up. Keep moving.
Never
Who
mind.
else?
Never mind. I'm sorry. You're over 35. My bad.
Happily married as well. Thank you. Happily married.
Oh, you got an invisible man now? Okay.
Oh! Shot! Sleazy just effing shot. Hold the phone.
Special appearance by Pistol Nick.
Yeah. Pistol Nick just shot all over.
I can't.
Sleazy and Pistol all in one.
Anyway.
Come on, you thought I was going to be PG. Oh, man. You know, person I really wanted that list more than anything, the Dreamy Center, Trip Cassidy.
Oh, Trip Cassidy. The other member of the Carnies. You might get your chance coming up pretty soon here.
March 11th, I hear. Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Indeed. Oh, Lord. Well, speaking of old lords and prayers need to go up, and, you know, Huckabee might actually want to do the sleazy challenge. I say you consider him, even though he has, disqualifying tendencies because he's himself, not that he's married or way up 35, just because he's him. And I'll just turn this back over to him and let him finish shooting with you. I think I said that nicely.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is... Ladies and gentlemen, once again, yeah, I'm here. Once again, this is the Wrestling Nerdcast on the line. Once again, with Scene/Pistol/Sleazy Nick. Now, Nick, I know our time with you is running very short because you're a very busy man. You got things to do. I have things to do. You know, Mika, she's just going to eat a bowl. She's going to eat a whole entire tub of Briars and watch some chick flick. But before you go, let all of our fans and listeners know how they can follow you, where they can see you at, and where they can contact you if they know somebody who wants to take the Sleazy Challenge.
Oh, man. You can always get up in my DMs on Facebook or Twitter. Follow my Facebook fan page, which is for my podcast, the Speak Sleazy podcast, relaunching on February 24th, which will include some wrestling topic, kind of some of my thoughts on things in the industry. It'll be a little more Pistol Nick there, and also a little self-help advice. I am, in real life, a counselor. Other than that, follow me on Twitter. I'm Scene_Nick1 or under as Get Seen. I promote a lot, so, Get Seen. And I will be March 3rd Southern Fried Championship Wrestling, Monroe, Georgia. Main event, Jacob Ashworth versus our champion, my champion, Adrian Hawkins in the Lumberjack match. Francisco Siatu versus Ike Cross for the Phase 1 trophy, which is like our number one contendership, cash-in Money in the Bank style. Corey Hollis, the Angry Midget, versus the Pretty Boy, Stevie Fierce. Stormy Lee versus Jessica Lee. The Approved, Bobby Moore, Kenji Brea, defend the tag team titles against JB Enterprises' own Tetsu Makuji and Brian Kane. Jagged Edge explains some of his actions, about why he rejoined JB Enterprises, turned against the 605 crew of Chris Nelms and Justin Legend. Then we got a nice little four-way going. Up and coming, one of my favorite guys, Xander Ramon, humble, great human being, brother in Christ, versus Matt Nix, a freelance. Dylan Cook, and that so good eye candy and possibly, hopefully, future Sleazy Challenge competitor, Elliot Paul. And then on Thursday's show, which I have a little bit involvement with on March 15th, you're going to have Gunnar Miller versus Kurt Stallion, Darby Allin versus Fred Yehi. How about that one? Then my also-favorite Sleazy Challenge Hall of Famer, Effie versus Kenji Brea. O'Shea Edwards proves if he's either all talk or all action against Logan Creed. Slim J versus debuting Myron Reed. And so much more. Odinson versus Gary J. That's going to be a sleeper match. I think that people will be shocked and surprised watching that match. Other than that, this Saturday I will be at Scenic City Rumble, which I am anticipating, can't wait to see. I get to meet Brett Eisen for the first time. Been a fan of his for over 2 years. Finally get to meet him. Kevin Blue will be there, so many more. I'm actually sponsoring some guys in the Joey Mercury seminar, getting them there. Guys like Lamar Diggs, who's up and coming, you know him well, Huckabee. He'll be in the seminar competing, trying to get a chance of a shot in the Battle Royal.
All I know about Lamar Diggs is that he got that fresh, sweet meat chest that hasn't been scarred up by chops yet.
So the time is coming. Who knows? Joey Murphy might do it. But I'm trying to get some other guys into the seminar as well, because I always believe in trying to, work on bettering yourselves. I know a lot of guys, especially younger guys, they don't always have the income necessarily to get to some of these seminars. So another thing I do, I help sponsor them so they can learn as much as possible. I'm not the richest man in the world by any means, but if I can contribute, help out, whether it's helping them get T-shirts printed, work on anything, that's necessary, help them get to seminars or stuff like that, or even some training, help out a little bit with that. I'm willing to do it because I just want to keep prolonging the industry and helping guys that I really believe in that are working hard kind of get to that next level.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, once again. And I'm pretty sure we're going to see you February 25th when the AWA makes its debut at the Landmark Arena in Cornelia, correct?
Oh, yeah, you definitely see me.
And then, of course, March 11th, AWA returns back to Atlanta for Old Lord, bringing back formerly known as Emma from WWE. Oh Jesus!
Good old Tanel.
I don't know if Nick, you can't tell, but we're recording this on video as well, and I've just realized that Mika has no rhythm whatsoever.
Damn.
Anyway, Nick, thank you for being a guest on our show, man. Hopefully we can have you come back in the future and stuff, man. I enjoyed myself.
Thank you.
I enjoyed myself. I'm pretty sure Mika enjoyed herself because, she had the long and short of it.
Damn. Need to get more long.
But yeah, Nick, we'll see you down the road, all right?
Definitely. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for having me on. It really means a lot.
Thank you.
I had a lot of fun. Thank you all.
All right, Nick. Take care.
Y'all too. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
All right. Mika.
Yes.
Seen Nick.
No, seen Nick, Pistol Nick, Sleazy Nick. We got all three incarnations. I know multiple personalities in wrestling is like a cool thing. Thank you, Cactus Jack. But this is real life, and that's still a cool thing because you have someone who's a fan, who is working in the business and who's helping out, trying to help others who are pursuing this dream of being a professional wrestler. So all three incarnations, whether you like them, hate them, don't understand, the fact of the matter is, like everybody else in this business, start off as a fan and is just giving back and doing more. So
you know what? I'm telling you what, man, I was so surprised with this interview. Like, blew my mind. Nick is an amazing guy. And if I didn't like Nick before, which I really did, he is one of my favorite people when it comes to professional wrestling, both in and out of the ring, both backstage and out there in the crowd, man. Just an amazing guy with a great sense of humor. This is what I said, with a great sense of humor.
Cool. Really cool. Really funny.
Hashtag Jaden Newman tastes like off-brand Hot Pockets.
No, Slade Porter. Slade Porter.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jaden Newman, worst kisser ever. Hashtag Slade Porter tastes like off-brand Hot Pockets.
Oh, gosh.
Anyway, Mika, what do you got coming up this weekend?
This weekend, I posted early this morning, I'll probably repost on my Facebook, that this weekend, if you do not find a professional wrestling show or independent wrestling show to go support, you are not trying. February 10th, every place in the freaking free world is running a show. Good God Almighty, help me. Fest is running on the 9th and the 10th. There is also the Scenic City Rumble is happening up in the Chattanooga, the Ooltewah, Tennessee area. I totally butchered that name, but you people know what I'm talking about. UIW is running a show here at the old VFW Fairgrounds here in the Georgia area, outside of Atlanta, in Carrollton, Georgia it is. So many places are running shows this weekend. It is absolutely wonderful to be a fan and bad to be a fan, because there's so much talent on each and every card that I mentioned, plus the ones that I did not get a chance to mention. I was just looking through my Facebook feed, looking at shows, looking at matchups. It's crazy. I need a jet. I need to go back to the future, back in time, or a clone, so I can get to all of these shows. I won't be able to. I'm going to go to the UIW show and check that out, because I want to see Chelsea Green here. Are you on that show too? I might have to change my mind and go someplace else then. No, but seriously, I'm gonna head to the UIW show. I might try to boogie out Friday to go down to Fest and come back. So I may hit the road and do a little traveling to catch some shows here and there. But yeah, it's going to be an awesome wrestling weekend, and I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of people out there at these shows. If you guys and girls bump into me, buy me some of this nice water that I like, and we'll become BFFs.
Hashtag Tibetan purified water blessed by, Himalayan water blessed by Tibetan monks. We'll get that trending.
Oh, God. What about you? Well, I'm pretty sure other than UIW?
Yes, this weekend I will be at UIW triple threat match. I like to call it, it's a way for me to solidify my crown as king of the super heavyweights, which is like any wrestler who is like 260 pounds or heavier. I consider myself the best of any super heavyweight. When I say any super heavyweight, I mean every super heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? Keith Lee, KDL, followed by, you know what I'm saying? Like, you name them, I am the best super heavyweight in professional. Brock Lesnar, the Big Show.
I like you.
I'm better than all of them.
I like you, but you're no Keith Lee, man. I'm just saying. I
know. I just said I was better than Keith Lee. I just said that.
Yeah, no.
But you know what? First of all, we're not even friends anymore. But I got UIW on the 10th, and then the next day I will be in Greensboro, North Carolina, defending my Firestar Pro Wrestling Zone 1 Platinum Championship at Firestar Pro Wrestling Presents Zone 1 in Greensboro, North Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, if you get a chance, be sure to check it out. I'm telling you right now, like, a lot of people are sleeping on Firestar Pro Wrestling. But for the Georgia fans, for our Georgia fans and listeners and people who live in Tennessee or whatever, if you like Griff Garrison, if you like Marcus Cross, these two young guys were both seen at the Landmark Arenas for the last several weeks and stuff. Highly endorsed by Bill Behrens, who has endorsed everybody from Luke Gallows to AJ Styles to Hernandez, David Young, et cetera, et cetera. These guys are endorsed by Bill Behrens. These guys were trained at Firestar Pro Wrestling. Cam Carter, Austin Theory is the Firestar Pro Wrestling heavyweight champion. A lot of good things are happening at Firestar Pro Wrestling. I really wish that a lot more people would give them a chance. Come check them out. Come check out the show. These young men and ladies and stuff are doing amazing things when it comes to professional wrestling. So that's where I'll be at this weekend. Anyway, Mika, you got anything else you want to plug?
I probably will be popping up on some more podcasts. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing my podcast along with Danny Danger and the Yellow Man Patrick on the FOW radio show. I'm probably going to record Friday wherever I am in the world with my friend Double E. We're going to talk women's wrestling exclusively. And, you know, I might go back to Jeffrey Show Live one day for that water that I love, you know, that you guys are giving me the hell about.
Hashtag Himalayan purified water blessed by Tibetan monks.
Exactly. So, you know, again, I'm going to be out on the road this weekend. I feel I had an in-house or in-the-home weekend last weekend, so it's time to get out there and see some wrestling, guys and girls. Join me.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is the Wrestling Nerdcast on the Angry Marks Podcast Network. I'm your host, the incredible Will Huckabee. This show is brought to you by Indie Customs. Be sure to check them out on Facebook, on Twitter. While you're there on social media, check out our really good friends at Pro Wrestling World for all of your wrestling news, wrestling info, who's doing what in the world of professional wrestling, who's not doing what in the world of professional wrestling. Go check them out on social media. With that being said, be sure to check me out this Thursday night AMP right here on the Angry Marks Podcast Network with myself, Stevie J, the Great Sudoku, and that Southern Belle herself, the hater of Tai Chi, Abby A. And we talking all things this past week in professional wrestling. Yeah, she hates Tai Chi from New Japan. Hurts my heart. Anyway, with that being said, on behalf of the Lover of Waffles, the voice of the speech impediment, the receiver of all things unsolicited, Mrs. Hashtag Let That Mouth Do, one half of the world's cutest commentary team, and the lady who is too old for the sleazy challenge, the adulterer of affection, Mika Villas. I'm your co-host, Mr. Hashtag All the Titles, the AIWF World Heavyweight Champion, the AIWF Mega Heavyweight Champion, the World Wrestling Grand Prix Champion, the Firestar Pro Wrestling Zone 1 Champion, the IWA North Carolina Heavyweight Champion, the WVCW Heritage Champion, the Disrespectful Intellectual, the Southern Gentleman, the Morning Star, the incredible Will Huckabee, saying go out, see some wrestling, support some wrestling, and have a good day.
Bye.
You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.